Hello! I am Farce.
And I am Nair.
And we are Perspeculative.
And today we want to do another segment of Shell Shock Starter. We're going to do Blue Exorcist.
And one hell of a shell shock starter that is, oh my god.
From the opening seconds.
Yeah. It had actually been quite a while since I last watched it, and I forgot just how much of a shell shock starter it is.
How visceral.
Visceral is an understatement. You see a man burst into flames in like the first 5 seconds.
Don't forget bleeding from the eyes.
Yes,
spoiler alert. I mean, we're going to have one. You guys know we have a spoiler alert in the beginning, but spoiler alert.
I mean, again, I don't feel a need to put a spoiler alert in the first 5 seconds. Again, similar to a previous episode we've... But anyway, let's get right into it.
Well, as you know, if you've watched it, obviously, at all, because literally, the very beginning, it starts off just, as Farce likes to say, ass over elbows, throws you right in the deep end. And honestly, the first time I watched it, which, again, we just rewatched it, but when I first watched it, I was like, alright, they're going for it. I'm buckling in, I'm ready for this ride. Like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah. And then we peel it back and slow way down. And now we're just watching these average people go about their day-to-day lives.
Mm-hmm.
Just Ren and his adopted father, who's a priest of the local church, and his twin brother. And they're just a happy little family. And you're kind of like left with a little bit of that emotional whiplash we mentioned in a previous episode.
Mm-hmm. Slight tonal annihilation, but not... I mean, you know what you're going into.
Yeah. Still, though, I mean, just... You went from, like, watching multiple people burn
Oh,
to death
yeah,
in front of you.
Yeah. It's similar to Devilman Crybaby, where we're like, okay, it's kind of normal-ish. Now we're at a rave. Okay. And then, oh my god, what am I watching? What the fuck? And then you kind of calm down a bit, but it's still messed up.
To be fair, you're gonna wind up in a lot of awkward situations if you compare anything to Devilman right out of the gate.
Well, I'm just saying, in the having a scene that is really, yeah.
I think it's... A large chunk of the episode is pretty much dedicated to just following this happy little family go about their day-to-day lives until the supernatural elements start kind of poking through Ren's job, his newfound job, getting interrupted once he tries to help a little girl retrieve her scarf only to find out it's been stolen by what he would later find out is a demon. You know, like you do. Casually going through the supermarket. Anyway, but yeah. And then it slowly ramps back up, and then he finds out that he's the son of Satan!
All in the first episode! So we see people bleeding from the eyes, exploding in blue flames, dying horribly, you get the chanting and everything, and then you get some normalcy to, bring you back down, and then BAM! Up again, seeing this kid, like, killing freaking birds and shooting at him with a crossbow, and what the fuck is that? And then... Oh, and now there's demons everywhere. He's turning into a huge demon. We got some, like, almost Yu Yu Hakusho things happening. And now I'm the son of Satan. And then we just end there. It's like, okay. Alright.
Yeah, I mean, I understand how things translate from a manga to anime. Sometimes stuff comes across as much more abrupt than others a lot of time. And I'm not sure if that's the case here or if the first chapter of the story is just as startling, but the sheer twist, it feels like it all happens so rapidly, so wham bam bam, like nightmare scene in the beginning, then normal happy domestic life, then the demon shows up and tells him he's the son of Satan. It's a lot to take in. It feels like a lot to take in all at once.
It doesn't beat around the burning bush, okay? It jumps right in, it tells you what it's about, going in.
Yeah, definitely throw us for a loop.
Well, like I said, not in the way that it's unexpected, but in the way that it's just like, wide eye, okay, this is what we're doing now, alright.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I know Blue Exorcist, it is good at maintaining a pretty consistent tone throughout as far as you feel when the action ramps up and then slows back down, but here it just kind of... I remember it throttling me even back then. Not enough to make me not watch it, but it did throw me for a loop just for how it's sort of sandwiched between two high-intensity action scenes with normal domestic life in the middle, you know?
See, it was kind of the opposite for me, as that opening scene sealed the deal for me immediately. I was like, alright, I'm good. They're jumping in this. I'm going with them. I like it. I appreciate it. Here we go. You know what I mean? And honestly, it does really slow down very quickly, and you're kind of like, okay, what happened to that? Like, where's the intensity? But it ramps back up. Again, Son of Satan, first episode, and we're seeing all the demons, and we're almost getting our eyes poked out by a fiery rod, but whatever.
I'd like to remind you this is an anime and not a hentai.
Oh, jeez.
But no, he, definitely threw me with... I understand it's a normal cinematic trick to go from a cold open to the more mellow situation, you know, a la Indiana Jones, like breaking into the temple, and then coming back to the college just teaching normal classes. I understand it's an old cinema trick, but still, it still caught me just for how, I guess, throttled it felt, you know? It's like, and now we're slowing down, and now we're going back to full speed. There's no slight escalation.
Isn't that the good roller coasters? 0 to 60. 0 to 60. Although there usually is a slow ascent of, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god.
Yeah. And, I mean, it is good. I mean, it's a good show, and from what I've seen of it, of course, it is good. It's just, having watched a lot more anime since then, it does stand out to me just how sharp contrast the intro plays to how consistent the tone and the speed of the show is going forward.
There's a reason that we're doing a segment on this one. Put it that way.
And it feels like it could just be as a result of the writer learning to pace themselves more along the lines of what they're thinking. A lot of shows kind of start off weird and then kind of fall into their groove because that's just how anything goes. Any show, movie, book. It's rarely exactly what the author wants in the beginning. It kind of becomes more of what it wants as it goes on. Simply because they're learning what they're actually trying to write. You sort of learn what you want as you go.
If you say so. Like I said, I think it was just perfect just the way it was.
Okay. But, I mean, that's just my opinion on the matter.
Oh, yeah, no, you're good. You're good. And I would say that I give the whole show, because I've, of course, watched it, a 8 out of 10 on MAL. And I believe Farce gave it...
7.5, I think. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as Nair did, but I also... I appreciated what it was going for, and how it basically doesn't hold back from any of the subject matter it talks about at all.
Mm-hmm. Alright, folks, I think that's all we have to say about that shell shock starter.
Yeah. In the meantime, take a note from the show. Don't light your local priests on fire.